She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart, a very first sight should rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
You're listening to the St. Andrews Jezebel podcast. This is Ashley Feller. I'm a third-generation Panama City native, musician, and singer-songwriter. I can hardly believe I've made it to episode 21, y'all. Anyone know where spring went? I was playing music at the market at St. Andrews last Saturday, and it was quite blustery. But I still had a great time playing music in my hometown of St. Andrews. I'd like to thank everyone who came by to say hello, and I appreciate your support. If this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I want to thank you so much for pressing play. And to start, I'll be sharing the music schedule for the upcoming weekend of March 26th through 28th, as well as some art and community events that are also happening this upcoming weekend. Then I'm happy to share a pre-recorded interview with my friend Megghan McDougall, who is the new manager for the market at St. Andrews. Finally, I'll be sharing a column from the St. Andrews Bay News, which was published March 27th in 1928, and it's called 20 Years, Hence a Success. So settle in, get your favorite drink and snacks ready, and enjoy the show. These are the music events for the upcoming weekend of March 26th through 28th. After you've taken the historic St. Andrews walking tour with Ellen, head over to the Shrimp Boat for a delicious seafood dinner with some jazz on the side by the class act duo that starts at 5 p.m. Or, if you're more in the mood for some fantastic Mexican food, then I suggest you skip over to Los Angejitos to relax on their beautiful patio and listen to music by Hunter and Tony that starts at 6 p.m. Or, if you look across Lake Ware, you can see the magnificent Palapa Hut at Little Village, and you're in luck because Woods the Band is celebrating their 2-year anniversary as a band, and I believe they start at 7 p.m. I'll include the details in the following community events segment. Another great place to dine on a Friday night is Alice's on Bayview. This Friday night, Alice's will feature music by the amazing jazz guitarist Jimmy Ward at 6 p.m. Jimmy has been making amazing music in this area for a long time and is likely one of the most accomplished guitarists I've ever seen growing up here. The tap room usually has music and a food truck every Friday night too, but I wasn't able to find any information online. Try checking their social media further into the weekend. I also know that Library on Beck has music on Friday nights, but I didn't see any information listed on their page either. Check their page out over the weekend. Another great way to spend your Friday night is to gather up your friends and enjoy an elegant dining experience at Uncle Ernie's while you listen to John Cannon. Get ready, y'all, because this Friday night is your chance to see one of the best musicians this county has to offer. The one and only Kevin Jacobs Band will be jamming for you at the House of Bourbon at, I believe, 7 p.m. Y'all, quick story. I can remember being about 14 years old, and I was laying on top of my father's sailboat out in St. Andrews Bay, watching Kevin Jacobs play at the old Seashell Lounge, which used to be near the Ramada on the St. Andrews Marina, and that was quite some time ago. Anyway, back to the weekend music. Closing out your evening is Gaia Jones at the Salty Hobo starting at 9 p.m. The market at St. Andrews is every Saturday morning and opens at 8 a.m. in the lot next to the Shrimp Boat. There are fantastic arts and crafts vendors, food trucks, and live music, which is brought to you by Floriopolis that begins at 10 a.m. This week, the Floriopolis Music and Art Tent features music by Martin Rodriguez. I should also add that the market is always interested in bringing in new musicians, so if you'd like to play, send a DM to the podcast or to the Market at St. Andrews Facebook page. The Floriopolis Music and Art Tent is usually located by the Panama City Coffee Company and the Kettle Corn Truck. See y'all there! Following the market, Parade over to Little Village to get your fill of tacos and music by a fantastic songwriter named Matt Prater. He isn't local, but he comes to this area a couple of times per year, and I'm hoping someday we won't be playing at the same time so that I can go and hear his songs. Class Act Duo is back at the Shrimp Boat at 5 p.m., and if you still haven't had enough island-style grub, you can always waltz back to Little Village for a cold beer and listen to a variety of music sung to you by Chris Wade that starts at 6 p.m. And in case you missed him, you get another chance to see Jimmy Ward at Alice's on Bayview at 7 p.m. If you haven't heard Kelly and the Healers, then you haven't lived. They are one of the best rock and blues bands in the Bay County area, and Kelly is an avid supporter of the local music scene. Do not miss that. Jamont Terry is back on the top deck of Uncle Ernie's at 7 p.m. Sundays are the best when they are spent in St. Andrews. I just love walking in the park, exploring the shops, admiring the boats, but most of all, I love drinking beer with my friends and watching live music. This Sunday, there are a couple of places you can treat yourself to brunch. The first place that comes to mind is Alice's on Bayview. I believe their brunch begins at 10:30 a.m. and they have music by J. Ray. I also hear great things about brunch at Bergen Barrel, and they feature music by Jumbled Juke and Friends. The tap room also has music and a food truck on Sundays, but again, I wasn't able to find much information online. Check their social media, maybe it'll be updated by the weekend. Michael Arsenault, sorry if I butchered your name, is playing at the Little Village this Sunday. I'm not familiar with Michael, but Little Village consistently has top-notch music, so I'm sure you won't be disappointed. This concludes the music events for the weekend of March 26th through 28th. I'd like to thank Ken Schaefer, who is the admin for 2 Facebook pages, which are Salty Sounds in St. Andrews, as well as Oh Boy Music. Ken creates a monthly music guide that lists where all the musicians will be playing and where. I appreciate you, Ken, for taking the time to create this comprehensive guide which strengthens the connection between music lovers and musicians. Thank you for using social media in a positive way to help musicians and venues advertise their music events happening each week. Let's all show Ken some love by liking and following Oh Boy Music and Salty Sounds in St. Andrews. Thanks, Ken, for everything you do. Are you familiar with Villa Gateway Park in St. Andrews? Yeah, me neither. It's the little space between Uncle Ernie's and Barefoot on the Bay. Currently, there are 2 curvy pink benches there with a bit of debris and rubble. Keep your eyes on that space. We've heard a beautification project is underway, coordinated by the Panama City Quality of Life in collaboration with the Historic St. Andrews Waterfront Partnership. This is the last full week of Youth Art Month. Look up to see the light pole banners on Beck and Bayview and downtown too. The banners feature art by 100 Bay County students. What a great idea! I still need to do one more pass to make sure I've seen them all. This is also the last week to see the Butterflies exhibit on Janie's Fence, an art in public places project coordinated by Floriopolis and sponsored by Bubba T. Bird. This week, we challenge you to find the 3 paintings by Jim Hayton. Here's a hint. One of them is a zebra longwing. Jim is an old-timer and a vicarious painter. He has already completed 4 paintings for the upcoming Songbird exhibit. You can watch him paint on Wednesday afternoons at Floriopolis. If you come around 2:30 p.m., he'll be drinking his afternoon cup of coffee from Amavita. Hey, all you creatives out there. Copper Tap Grill is seeking a graffiti artist. This is exciting. Please spread the word or we'll never know what their secret project is. Did you go to the drag show last week at the Salty Hobo? I love that this was a collaboration between Hobo and the LGBTQ Center of Bay County. Thank you so much to all the staff and volunteers that worked hard on this. I really hope this becomes a regular thing. Ladies, are you ready to add a few breezy pieces to your wardrobe? Eva and Quinn, Gypsy Beach, Adonia, Sunjammers, Trendy Side, Little Village, and Grits and Grace all have new collections in the spring. Everyone with little humans, mark your calendars for April 3rd, which is the Easter egg hunt in the Oaks by the Bay Park. I'm so pleased that Woods the Band will be at the Little Village this Friday night. They're a family band, and you can feel, hear, and see their joy when they're on stage. Just watch them. They even look you in the eyes like they're singing to you. This makes for a great evening, getting to browse around Little Village, add to your collection of feel-good handmade goods, eat island grub from Finn's, and enjoy listening and watching a great local band. I want to take this chance to remind you, too, about live music etiquette and tips. If you're not an OBGYN or a first responder, please turn your phone to silent when you're listening to live music. It's a small effort we can all do, and it makes the experience better for everyone. While we're on the subject of tips, in the days of things like Apple Pay and cards, remember to carry some cash to tip the talent. Most musicians are moving into the digital world with Venmo and PayPal, so you can sometimes still tip if you're cashless. But being a musician, I can tell you, there's something about getting tipped with cash. It's real and it's personal, and after the gig is over, using that cash to buy a drink at the bar and then tip the bartender with the same cash, this makes a whole circle, live in the real time, in your hands. It's a different experience, cash versus cards. Studies show that cash transactions with self-employed entrepreneurs like musicians and artists and lawn guys, and tips to baristas and waiters and car washers and such, are much likely to stay local. Cash in district tends to be spent in that district. That's pretty cool, isn't it? This Friday night, to get you in on the celebration of their 2-year bandiversary, Woods the Band is giving away free band bags, canvas totes with their name and logo to everyone in attendance Friday night at Little Village at 7 p.m. If you're lucky enough to pull a long weekend, start your Friday off at 1 p.m. with Ellen and the historic St. Andrews walking tour at the Publishing Museum. After that, an afternoon in St. Andrews, visit some shops, sit for dinner, and some early live tunes. Then skedaddle over to Little Village for Woods the Band, and they'll be ending at 9 p.m., so you'll still have some time to catch the late night bands. Well, would you look at that? Your whole Friday night planned. Tell them the St. Andrews Jezebel sent you. This past Tuesday, my friend Megghan McDougall met with me at Floriopolis, where we're both volunteers. Megghan wears a few hats in this community. She is the new manager for the market at St. Andrews. She hosts trivia at the library in Beck on Tuesday evenings, and she also leads the art exhibits on Janie's fence, all while being a mom. It was a joy to have Megghan on the podcast, and I hope she'll come back real soon. Enjoy the interview. Good morning. We're here with Megghan McDougall. I hear, Megghan, that you're the new market manager at the market at St. Andrews. What has that journey been like, and how did you find yourself in that position?
Well, the market manager job for me is kind of like a dream come true because I get to be around delicious food and crafts and art all at one time. And I fell into that job because I was an avid shopper of the market, and then the community just sort of nudged me in the right way that I ended up having a conversation about, hey, do you want to be the market manager? And I was honored they'd even ask. I've taken that opportunity and ran with it, and I couldn't be more excited.
So when is the market? And if I were to come visit, what kinds of things would I most likely see there?
Okay. The market has been around since 2004, and we are open every Saturday all year round, unless there's a hurricane, even if it's raining. If it's raining early, we just start a little later, but we are normally there from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday at the Smith Yacht Basin, right at the base of the Shrimp Boat and Los Antojitos. So we can be found, look for the white and colorful market tents. If you were to come to the market, and if you were to come, I will give you the grand tour, but you can find all sorts of locally made jewelry, acrylic prints on canvas. There's different kinds of ceramic art sometimes. You can almost always find homemade dog treats because we love the puppies in St. Andrews. The Salty Cat Rescue is there talking about their initiatives that they've got going on. It's an amazing organization in St. Andrews. There's also 2 different honey vendors, and the honey vendors have different unique wax products of candles and lip balms and lotions and things. And goat's milk soap. There's a dairy farmer and locally made flowers. There's always going to be something different at the market.
And that's absolutely what I love about it. I feel so blessed to be able to play at the market from time to time, and thank you for having me. And one of the coolest things that I've ever seen at the market was the Model T4 that was there this past Saturday. Can you tell me a little bit about how that transpired?
Yes, so that is a gentleman named Kenneth, and he is relatively new to the area, and he is a fascinating man. He considers himself a creative. He's very wise, and he's also a storyteller, and he reached out to me because he had seen the car show a few weeks back, and the car show was something that the Optimist Club of the Beaches had put on, but we collaborated together and ran a dual event that day. It was a beautiful day, and he saw, and so that led him to reach out. But that was his father's car, and now he takes it around, and he's going to do experiences and weddings and picnics and things, and I think it's a really cool business venture. But as an artist and creative, he's really a fascinating man to just have a conversation with too.
Yes, so Kenneth, if you happen to be listening, would love to have you on the St. Andrews Jezebel podcast. And Megghan, I just love the market. It's one of my favorite places to play, and even when I'm not playing, I love to drop by and just see what's going on. You've done great things with it. It feels like the vendor section at a music festival, and that's something that's definitely a part of my life that I miss, and it reminds me of that, so thank you. But I would like to know, what's your goals concerning the development of the market?
Oh, well, in the past, the market has won some awards for different things. So I hope that in the future Jezebel podcast interviews that I can tell you about the awards that we've won. So that's something on my radar. But I'm hoping, and this is pretty big news, but I feel comfortable saying it, the biggest expansion we've got going right now is we're working out the details. So I don't want to release details, but we are going to launch a second market of the week, and it will be in the evening times. And I'm super excited about that because that is going to open up the doors for a lot of new people to enjoy all the beautiful things we have at the market that can't see us on the weekends. So that is probably our biggest thing coming up, and a goal of mine that I'm working on. If you see me running around in St. Andrews with my purple hair and I've got the notebooks and everything, know that I am working on making that second market happen. I couldn't be more excited to, if not shortly after, but end of April is currently the goal.
Awesome. Well, I really look forward to seeing that transpire. And is there anything new and exciting coming up at the market? Anything to do with the kitty cats?
The biggest thing coming up at the market right now is Salty Cat Day, which will be April 24th. And that will be from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have an extra hour of vending that day. And that day is going to be centered around all things cat. We are going to be doing a raffle. They're going to be doing some different sales. We've got some people growing some catnip, so there'll be a catnip sale that day. I'm pretty excited about that. They're going to donate the plants, and then all the money is going to go to the Salty Cat Rescue. The Salty Cat Rescue is an organization. They're a nonprofit that is got their claws tightly in the historic St. Andrews district, and use that pun. Yeah, claws tightly in. When I say that, they are in and out of every alley and corner and behind every bush to make sure that the cats in St. Andrews are spayed and neutered, that they are getting along, that they're not fighting, that they're fed. And every single night that I'm down in St. Andrews, there's somebody with a Salty Cat Rescue t-shirt on, making sure these cats are okay. So I really believe in this organization, and I'm excited that we're centering a whole day around helping them. They're going to raise money to make some cat boxes, those little cat condos, so that way the food doesn't get wet when they feed the cats, and also put it directly, the money towards spaying and neutering the cats, specifically in St. Andrews. Fun fact, there are 70 cats between Uncle Ernie's and Alice's on Bayview that live there all the time, and the Salty Cat Rescue makes sure that they're all okay. One last thought on Jackie, though. What's amazing about her is she really is the cat whisperer. She will walk around the market wearing her Salty Cat shirt, and she usually has some cat ears or something on just to kind of make herself stand out. But she was holding this one-eyed cat the other day and just snuggling on up to it. And she was telling me that they found this particular cat on X Road, or, behind such and such building. And she was just nuzzling the cat. And I'm like, that's pretty darn cool that you can just like tame a cat and that cat just love you. So it's like whatever she's doing it right. Because even the alley cats love her, which is just really kind of a neat skill, I guess.
That is amazing. I love the Salty Cat Rescue. Jackie is amazing. I'd love to also have Jackie on the show. I actually adopted my 2 kitties from the Salty Cat Rescue. I hear that you also host trivia at the library and Beck on Tuesdays.
So trivia on Tuesday nights at the library, which is a library, Liebray. It's kind of a quirky little bar that just opened up a few months ago in St. Andrews. It's right across from the Panama City Publishing Museum, right next door to Berg and Barrel and Adonia by Janie's Fence. And on Tuesday nights from 7 to 9 p.m., you can join us for trivia. We give away some fun prizes to House of Henry, and you can check out the books on the wall. They're also, all those books are for sale. And you can bring in food from other places. So like you can get food from Slice House, and then they'll text you when it's ready, and you can come over and eat it, and we'll pour you a beer so you can drink with it and play trivia.
It's my understanding that you're also a mom. You have 2 little ones. How do you do it all? How do you manage the market, run trivia, volunteer for Floriopolis, and any other hat you might wear while having 2 kids?
Well, let me say that I think all the hats that I wear are motivated by my 2 kids. And I think that's how I manage it all in my mind, is that all of the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm trying to grow, a lot of the things that I'm trying to grow are with the collaboration of a lot of other really motivated local people. And I see the good they're doing. And so I'm trying to help them grow it. But it's for my kids, because I'm trying to create the community that I want to raise them in. And so it's entirely possible that I'm doing trivia questions as they're crawling around my feet. It might be that they're at the park and I'm answering emails and phone calls back. But all the things that I'm doing are because I want my children to grow up in a place that art exists, and a place that community feels good and warm. And so when I wake up and see them, their faces push me to keep doing all the things that I'm doing. And hopefully they will be able to tell their kids someday that I made it a wonderful place to grow up. So that's my hope.
Well, I think that you are one of the ones that is helping make this a place to be. This is definitely a place folks want to be now. So I heard that you also plan the themes and help maintain the art exhibits on Janie's Fence. Do you have help with this? Do you need more help with this? I know right now the butterfly exhibit is up and the songbird exhibit is next. How can folks get involved with that?
Well, if anyone is feeling motivated to donate a piece of art, we certainly are taking submissions for the fence. And I would love help on the fence. It's currently me and a couple of people, but if you have an afternoon, or if you would like to help with the switching of the displays, that's always it's easier if we have more people. So if you're available for a few hours the morning of April 1st, we will be switching from the butterflies over into the songbirds. If you would like to donate a songbird, or even some lyrics, or even just a funny take on what a songbird is, I think there's going to be we always try to have some little smile things at the fence. Like right now, there's a butter stick with wings for butterfly. So it doesn't even have to be really intricate art. It can just be kind of whimsical. And it's a place where people that don't consider themselves artists can art in public places. So that's kind of the pull as to why I like doing the fence, because I certainly don't feel like I can paint elaborate things as they can, but maybe I can help put it together, which kind of is a motivation. Maybe it's a call out to other creatives who want to be involved in art things, but maybe don't feel qualified to make elaborate paintings. You don't have to do that to be involved in the art in public places. It takes a village, and sometimes I just need someone that wants to come around with a drill and some screws and that can help me with the canvas. So if you feel led to be a part of that, please get in touch with me or get in touch with someone at Floriopolis, and we can definitely find a place for you to fit in there. We also have fence checkers, so if you feel motivated just to stop by and make sure that all the stuff is still attached and in good standing. That's kind of the interesting part about the fence project, is that you're essentially donating art to the elements a little bit. We have to make sure that it doesn't get messy at our fence, and we got to upkeep it to make it look good for everybody. But it certainly is a joy going down Beck and seeing that art. So it's definitely something that I want to keep up with and keep doing. And I would love to see more people get involved to create the art, to help distribute the art, to collect it. The themes in itself, songbirds, they are trying to revamp the birding trail. It took a hit after Michael, and so it's all to increase awareness of what the Birding Society is doing for that and the partnership's doing for that, as was the butterflies. The butterflies are encouraged to highlight the butterfly gardens that are around St. Andrews, which currently there's 7. There's going to be 12, and we're very excited about that because it certainly beautified the community.
Absolutely. If folks do have any questions about the market or the butterflies exhibit or the future exhibits on Janie's Fence, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Megghan?
I'm pretty responsive on Facebook, either on my personal page or on the Market at St. Andrews page. My market email is market@historicstandrews.com. My personal email is mmegghan, spelled like my name, at yahoo.com. So either of those are ways to get in touch with me, but Facebook is probably where I'm most responsive.
Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you being here today, not just as the guest of the podcast, but as my friend. I love playing at the market, and I just love everything that you're doing for the community. For everybody listening out there, please visit the Market at St. Andrews, which is every Saturday starting at 8 a.m., and we'll see you there, and I hope you'll tune in next week for more.
Thank you for having me, Ashley.
For this week's Old News segment, I'd like to read a column that comes from the St. Andrews Bay News called 20 Years, Hence a Success, which was a play directed by Miss Alma Sapp, who was a 5th grade teacher here in Panama City in the 1920s. This column was published March 27th in 1928. The play, given by the Pulips in the 5th grade, 20 years hence, under the direction of Miss Alma Sapp, teacher of the grade, was a most successful affair. There were more than 40 pupils in the play, and all deserve a great deal of praise, as all went through their parts admirably well. The paper last week made the mistake of stating that Margaret Rose Gideon, Thomas Redman, Audrey Zediker, Eileen Goss, Lily Gill, Coy Rutherford, Procton Zediker, Audrey Kelly, and Estelle Ellis were the only ones in the cast. This was not the case, as the above-mentioned ones are Miss Sapp's busy bees, and being on the honor roll for some time, their names were only given special mention. The auditorium was filled to its capacity, and all were most appreciative of the efforts of the children. The success of the affair should encourage Miss Sapp into another entertainment sometime soon. Thank you so much for listening to episode 21 of the St. Andrews Jezebel podcast. We now have a Facebook page and an Instagram account. The pages will share when future episodes will be published and more information regarding the growth of the podcast. I hope you'll visit these pages, and you can show your support by liking, following, and sharing the pages with all your salty friends. Before I go, I need to mention that I'm hoping to share all kinds of public events. If you're having a yard sale or you'd like me to help you promote a special happening, please DM the podcast on Facebook, or you can email me at ashley.feller@gmail.com. The podcast is now available to stream on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, CastBox, and Google Podcasts. I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed and shared the podcast with all their salty friends. If you had subscribed, please do. Thank you everyone again for supporting this effort. The intro music was written by me and recorded by Dave Schwartz at Boundless Sounds on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. The show was written by me and recorded in my music room. Till next time, keep St. Andrews salty.
'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel. 'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew.